it, boys! It's Wednesday and people are pissed. Pitchfork was mean to Gumby Van Fleet. What a bunch of babies.
That was arguably the story of Tuesday, was when Pitchfork came out with Greta Van Fleet's album review. I sent it to you first thing in the morning, and you responded about 3 hours later, and you were like, sorry, I've just been pulling my pork to this review for the last 2 hours.
Haven't had time to actually respond. I had screen grabs from Jeff. I had the link from you. I had the link from a couple other people. And then
it was perfect because I saw it from Jim Murray, who quote tweeted it and was like, "This is the best music review I've ever seen."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that Tuesday was just a lot of people showing that to each other because a lot of people it was like that thing you do when the song's on the radio and everyone's all very excited to, hey, someone's dragging Greta Van Fleet. Someone's dragging Greta Van Fleet. Oh, like we're all meeting up
going
together.
Door to door.
Yeah, jumping up and down, just having a damn party. I was actually... don't know how to phrase this in a non-problematic way. I was rattled by something I saw on Barstool today because Barstool was the only place that came out and was like, hey, that was really mean to Greta Van Fleet. What the hell? You guys are you're supposed to be mean to everybody, and Greta Van Fleet is the stance
that's
you
a
take?
weird place to draw the line. Be like, no, do not touch Greta Van Fleet.
Yes, do not. Yes, we cannot offend Greta Van Fleet.
It sucks. I mean, the only reason that it sucks so much is because Pitchfork is 100% like
they're wrong all the time and
snobby,
petty.
Yeah. So it's really difficult to argue against any of the people that are coming out against Pitchfork, being like, well, they fucking hate everything that's popular. And
right.
That's pretty true.
They gave so the score for Anthem of the Peaceful Army by Greta Van Fleet got a 1.6 out of 10, which is the exact same score that Pitchfork gave Camp by Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
So, again, it's not like Pitchfork is this pillar of great critique, but this was the best scathing review I've ever read.
I agree with everything that they said.
It is completely right. They're wrong about a lot of stuff. But so it's... the debut from the young Michigan rock band is stiff, hackneyed, overly precious, and retro fetishism.
Okay, so you're starting off with that's a subhead.
That's the subhead, okay?
I was going to say, you got to start off with a lead, because it's the lead of the year.
The greatest lead ever. I'm a big lead guy. I care so much about leads because I've never been convinced that anyone reads past the lead with anything. So I usually am a big make the lead pop and then mailed in from there kind of guy. That's journalism 101.
It's the inverted pyramid.
Yes. Greta Van Fleet sound like they did weed exactly once, called the cops, and tried to record a Led Zeppelin album before they arrested themselves.
That is unbelievable.
Wow! And I mean, wow! That is sensational. From Jeremy D. Larson, senior editor. Oh my God! Oh, that just
so
rocks.
perfect.
That
so
rocks
perfect.
better than Greta Van Fleet could ever rock. So let's do it. Greta Van Fleet sound like they did weed exactly once, called the cops, and tried to record a Led Zeppelin album before they arrested themselves. The lead's so nice, we had to read it twice. That is so good. That is so... The poor kids from Frankincense, Michigan don't even realize they're more of an algorithmic fever dream than an actual rock band. While they're selling out shows all over the world, somewhere in a boardroom, a half dozen people are figuring out just how exactly Jimmy Page and Robert Plant are supposed to fit into the SUV with the rest of the Greta Van Fleet boys on carpool karaoke.
Oh my goodness. I could 100% see Greta Van Fleet being one of those movies like what's it called, Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah,
like where they're just basically trying to to recreate something that was already popular. They have the formula, they have the algorithm.
Yes.
And they're like, how do we just get these boys, these young boys, how do we get them into a recreation of Led Zeppelin?
That's why people get so mad. They're like, oh yeah, it's real nice. You guys trash some kids who actually know how to play their instruments, blah, blah, while people like Taylor Swift and Maroon 5 and blah, blah. I'll use Maroon 5 as an example because I had a very amicable conversation today about this with my friend Josh Cooper from The Athletic. Fun trick is if you can't remember where someone writes, it's The Athletic. I know that Josh writes for The Athletic, but everybody writes for The Athletic.
Yeah.
And he brought up Maroon 5 as an example, and I was like, oh, Maroon 5 is for sure more talented than Greta Van Fleet. And just because you see the people playing instruments and you recognize, like, ooh, that's a Gibson Les Paul. That guy must be great at guitar. Everybody, all these people, whenever we say this band can't play their instruments, they stink. Everyone can play their instruments, okay? Like Blink 182 could play their instruments. Relax, you know? So if your selling point on Greta Van Fleet is it would appear that they can play their instruments, I'm very sad for you that that's what your bar is.
And that's why I love the paragraph in here that says, like, they care so deeply and are precious with their half-baked boomer fetishism.
Fetishism.
Each song here could be written or played by any of the 1,000 classic rock cover bands that have standing gigs at sports bars and biker joints across America. In parentheses, the same venues where Greta Van Fleet cut their teeth when they were kids. They're still kids. So why should Greta Van Fleet be the one signed to Republic and William Morris? Because they don't have bald spots yet?
Yes.
Tons of people in those cover bands play their instruments better than Greta Van Fleet, who are currently proficient at best. No one in this band offers anything in the way of personality that doesn't sound like your average YouTube tutorial for a Jimmy Page-type pentatonic solo or a John Bonham's-type shuffle.
So
that is so good.
I said, I believe my exact text to you is, it's probably a little inappropriate, but I said I was doing something to my something while reading it. The part where it said, where it just brought up the pentatonic scale, that's all. That is, these are kids who took some guitar lessons, and then honestly, this is what I did when I was taking guitar lessons. Once I learned the pentatonic scale, which is a scale that works over a lot of things, and it's a very easy scale to play. You can just run up and down the neck doing it. You can fake your way into sounding like you're good at guitar with that. And that was, once I learned that, I was like, okay, I don't really need to learn anything more because I can fool some idiot who's like, hey, can you play guitar? And I'm like, well let me, you tell me. Like, that's what these people are. And I feel very bad for guitar teachers who probably had those kids run out after 3 lessons, and the people mentioned there, the cover bands, who a lot of people who love Greta Van Fleet will see these cover bands, they're like, oh dude, give up the dream, buddy. It's like, those people are better than your little precious boys.
And I do love that the Pitchfork review basically said that they're like, the kids are in costumes, they're in Led Zeppelin costumes.
Yes,
and that is 100% correct. Like, they not even their look. It might be different if they had like their own unique look and they just kind of played and sounded like Led Zeppelin. I'd be like, okay, whatever. It's like these guys sound like Led Zeppelin. At least they have their own thing going for them. They don't even have their own look going for them. They're mimicking everything.
It is all an act, and it is the word fetish is used or forms thereof a lot in this piece, and I can't believe I never thought to use that word. They are just completely fetishized, and it is completely an act that they are putting on. I think I've said this before, and it's way too nerdy of a take, but watch them perform that stupid Highway Tune song, and when the lead singer, whatever the kid's name is...
Bono.
What's his name?
Bono.
When Bono does the... and like he has to stay still, and he raises his eyebrows so much, and he is contorting himself to do something that is not what his voice is. You know,
right.
Like, he is performing in the most offensive meaning of the word. He is acting and doing something that is not... I wonder what his voice actually sounds like, you know?
Yeah.
I'd love to we should interview that kid and be like, hey, so what do you guys actually sound like as musicians? Would love to know, because you're doing a very good Bruno Mars thing.
You know what their move should have been? They should have starred in a Led Zeppelin movie, and if it was a really good movie, they would have had a great soundtrack, and then they could have made a career off that, and nobody would have been like, ugh, this is weird and gross.
And they'd be like the Fab Four or Rain or any of these like Beatles cover bands that have full-time jobs just pretending to be the Beatles.
Right.
That's totally fine. There's no shame in that. But these guys are celebrating. Who's my man? This was Barstool again. Barstool loves Greta Van Fleet. Who's my man who first? This was the first that they came on my radar.
Robbie. Robbie was like, "Look at these
Saving Rock and Roll."
Yeah.
Saving Rock and Roll, I believe, is what it was.
Oh,
and
no.
I remember I'd seen stuff from that kid, and I knew that he was like a big pop culture guy and everything. So I was like, all right, you seem cool, but don't have another take like that again, young man.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because like all the old school people that fucking love Zeppelin and love them now, they're like, well, rock's been dead for decades, and these
just
because
you gave up on looking for it,
right?
Dude. It's
right. These kids do nothing new. Just because they sound and look exactly like the band that you liked 30, 40 years ago, does not mean that rock has been dead for 30, 40 years. Just because nobody has recreated that exact same thing.
How do you think
it exists in a different state?
How do you think our guys Houndmouth feel? Where they were,
we should have asked them about it.
They were beloved for doing something like when I finally listened to Houndmouth after probably a year of you being like, dude, you'd like him. First song I listened to was Penitentiary, and in the chorus,
it is the band,
right? And in the chorus, the lead vocal does not sing the melody; he sings a harmony, and just the way their harmonies were stacked was just so beautifully the band. And I was like, oh, they did. This is such a cool thing that you don't really hear anymore. God, I love these guys. And then I listened to other songs of theirs, and I was like, so all of them aren't like the band.
Yeah.
These are authentic musicians who are doing their own thing, and they're really branching out and doing different stuff. And as they continued to branch out, the people who were probably whacking it to them sounding like the band for a couple of songs were like, you guys aren't musicians anymore, you're using laptops. And they're like, well, so that's actual rock. What these guys are doing is it's God bless the real bands who are making real rock and trying to reinvent themselves and trying to do different things, because that's what rock and roll was. It wasn't just, all right, we have one sound, let's keep doing it over and over and over again. Every time a new album would come out, a band would sound a little different than it did the previous album. These guys are just going to keep playing it right down the middle, Led Zeppelin over and over again, and
nobody will ever look back on Greta Van Fleet and be like, wow, they moved the genre forward.
Yes, they just did a really weird...
If anything, they're harming like the rock genre by going so far backwards and doing the exact same shit.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I think a lot less of a lot of rock fans and classic rock people who defend them. I have my guy... I can't remember the guy's name, so now I'm not going to even say anything more about it, because then you'll be able to tell who I'm talking about, and you'll be like, you don't know. One of my friends is a very big rock guy and has great music takes, and we've always kind of had these great conversations about, oh, this album's good, blah, blah, and he's a big Greta Van Fleet guy, and I'm like, so I guess I can't take that guy seriously anymore. And a lot of people are like that, so... yeah, I'm getting tweets today saying, like, curious, why don't you like those guys anyway? And I'm like, listen to this podcast
yeah, there
once.
It is.
They're just, it is kitsch. That's what it is. You know when Oscar says that about the poster that Angelo really likes of the babies playing the saxophone?
Yeah.
He's like, this is not art, this is kitsch. And I had to look up
not
kitsch
the good
again.
Kind of kitsch, the Taylor kind.
Not the Taylor kind. Not the slinging beers in the underwear. And this makes me want to sling beers in my underwear out of depression. And quite frankly, folks, I've got enough stuff in my life that's making me want to do that. I don't need Gerba Van Bumfuck to come in here and make me do that anymore. If you like Greta Van Fleet, you suck.
There it is.
That's the podcast for today.
That is one of the best rants that we've had in a while.
It was good. We were feeding the rock, like we were going back and forth down the court, and I didn't even realize the court was that long. Like, we got to the basket, and then we were like, we're not ready to dunk yet, and they were like, all right, we're just gonna put another basket a half mile down the road if you guys want to keep passing it back and forth. So we did that.
Today's episode is a movie review episode. Since we were in Austin last weekend. We have some movies to catch up on. You
Yes.
did not see First Man, but
No.
I did, so I can talk about First
I guess
Man
I'm
for
the
a little
last
bit.
man to see it. No, don't talk about it till. Well, let me
We'll hold off
see
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so we won't do First Man, but we did see Halloween. We both saw Halloween. I have a lot of thoughts on Halloween. I'm very,
So
very
do
excited
I.
to talk about it.
Yeah.
And we also saw Bad Times at the El Royale. So I think we should first do.
Also, before we get to the movie reviews, some people asked what we thought of the new Moo album. I'll be honest. I listened to the Greta Van Fleet album so I could mock it instead of listening to an artist that I actually liked. So we're pleading ignorance for now. I've got like one run through. I liked a lot of the songs, but we'll sprinkle that in as it comes.
I had a soft listen. I wasn't blown away by it, but I thought that it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to give it more of a listen, and we can discuss it on the next episode. But before we get into Halloween and Bad Times at the El Royale, before we saw Halloween, there was a new trailer for Happy Death Day to
Yes, and it's magnificent.
No, it's not.
It looks so good. It looks like
so bad.
It made me watch Happy Death Day again because I'm like, man, what a great movie. It has a lot of the same things as the first one, except there's a scenario in which she has to keep committing suicide, and
It's very suicide heavy.
someone in the theater, as that trailer ended, the guy a couple seats next to me said to the person he was with, like, that's really awful that would be part of a movie. And I want to be like, hey, hi, depressed person who's been suicidal before, mental health advocate here. That is really bad. You know what else is really bad? Like, every movie has someone who goes around murdering people. That is really bad too. Okay, suicide's terrible.
pretty good
Murder, very terrible too. You're about to watch a murder. You came here, so you bought
a
murder
serial
tickets. Yeah, you bought murder movie tickets. So get off your high horse, you crazy guy.
And also, don't see A Star Is Born. But the fucking Happy Death Day 2 trailer, I really didn't need this. I came around on Happy Death Day being like the satirical thing that's worth my time. I didn't like it when I watched it the first time around.
You had the John Wick experience.
I didn't get it.
You misgot it.
I
We'll
missed
say
the tone.
I got that. Same with me and John Wick. Big time.
I came around eventually on Happy Death Day where it's like, okay, I don't have to take this so seriously, and fine, whatever. Good idea. The execution, I think, still missed the mark a little bit. Definitely didn't need it 2 times in the exact same form.
Yeah.
They didn't even change characters.
Well, that's what's cool. That I'm surprised that kid is back, because the kid that she was dating,
yeah.
that she began dating him, they have sex once and then
never
understand
talk
it just they're just different people in different places in life, and then they kind of move away from each other. Crazy. That's the biggest thing that she goes from. And again, I watched the first one very recently. She is such a bad person to begin that movie. She is a nightmare, just a horrible, horrible young woman. And I mean, it takes her dying like 55 times, but she really becomes a really good, considerate, nice person, especially to this young man. But I still feel like that kid was...
I'm just realizing it now. The Happy Death Day plot is almost the same as The Good Place, the show on NBC. Because
I gotta watch that.
It's very, very funny. Kristen Bell's character, she dies in the show, and she goes to the quote-unquote good place, which is heaven, and then she like realizes that she doesn't belong there because she was a terrible person on Earth, and she has to learn to become a good person.
Oh, that's kind of cool. And Ted Danson's in it?
Yes.
Yeah, why
He's
aren't I
God,
watching this?
basically.
Oh, he's God?
Basically. He's
And
like
they trash Blake Bortles the whole time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very good show. But yeah, I also realized, if I recall correctly, that the guy in Happy Death Day who she dates, he's living in the same dorm in Happy Death Day 2. It appears to be the same dorm. So either this movie happened like a semester later, or he got held back a grade in college.
I don't know. Yeah, that's quite possible. I think they showed the kids in it too. His roommate.
Yes,
right?
same roommate.
Yeah,
So this
the roommate who wants to know about the what is it? Fine vagina.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, you hit that fine vagina last night or what? And then one of the times she knows it's coming, and she spanks him, and then goes, "Find vagina out."
It seems like it's really steering into the fucking like terrible, corny jokes in this one. It's gonna be fucking outrageous. She gets like shocked in the trailer when she wakes up with the frizzy hair.
Oh yeah,
it seems like there's gonna be a lot of goofy shit going on in this one.
Yeah,
it's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be very bad.
I'm looking forward to it. I think that.
Are you in more or less?
Than I was
the trailer. Yeah.
Oh, nothing. Ain't a damn thing changed. I was 100% going in. I'm 100% coming out. I think that they saw that the movie was well received. That enough people were like, "Oh my god, we get it. This is ridiculous. What a great movie!" And they're like, "All right, you want ridiculous? Let's get ridiculous.
They're gonna go overboard.
Let's get Kyrie on the soundtrack because this one's gonna be ridiculous." I'm very excited to see it.
Hey, do you like investing?
I'm gonna be careful what I say here. I like people choosing how they invest, however they want,
unless it's in Greta Van Fleet. Don't invest your time.
Don't invest your time in Greta Van Fleet.
But if you want to start investing, Robinhood might be the app for you. It's an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. Don't know what a bunch of those things are, but they're commission-free, and that's nice, I think. They strive to make financial services work for everyone, not just the wealthy. Again, we are not the wealthy. You might have heard this before. We are not classified as, quote, the wealthy.
Not yet.
But it's Robinhood is a non-intimidating way for stock market newcomers to invest for the first time with true confidence. Simple and intuitive, it's got a clear design with data presented in an easy-to-digest way. There's no commissions fee, and it's a low cost. Other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, but Robinhood doesn't charge commission fees. Trade stocks and keep all your profits. It allows you to learn by doing. Learn how to invest as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks and trade favorite companies with personalized news feeds. Custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving our listeners free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. So sign up at brunch.robinhood.com. That's brunch.robinhood.com.
Pretty cool stuff. We saw 2 movies, both of which got the same exact audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Halloween and Bad Times at the El Royale, both 76%. Let us start with Halloween because 'tis the season.
Right. Correct. It is the Halloween season.
Season.
Yeah, I really fucking liked Halloween.
I did not know this was supposed to be good.
I've
been watching Halloween.
I was excited about it. I thought that it was going to be good. It exceeded my expectations.
I've been watching Halloween sequels my whole life. Like, literally. I saw Halloween when I was a kid, and then my friends and I would chip away at the sequels, and I've seen them all, and it's just understood that when a new Halloween movie comes out, you're like, okay, I guess I'll see it. I'll say I haven't seen either of the Rob Zombie ones. I feel like I'm doing okay there by missing those. So I did not know this was supposed to be good, and as I was watching it, I was like, wait a second, this is actually good. This is a good movie. Great. It was a really good, really enjoyable slasher. It was all the same elements as the first one. I don't think it'll go down as being the greatest horror movie of all time, like the first one, but it was very, very good, and if you've seen the first one, if you were kind of into it, definitely see this.
Well, I'll say off the top that I didn't like the first one. And
this is weird.
Yeah.
You went back and watched the first one, and I then watched the first one again to be like, wait a second, was it bad? And no, that movie's great.
Nah, man, I didn't really get it, I guess. Like, there's so much standing around. Nothing happens in that movie until the last 15 minutes.
Oh, that's not true.
That is so true.
No, he's killing off her friends one by one, man.
That all happens in like the last 15 minutes of the movie.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. All right, so maybe it's like the last 25 minutes.
I would say that the night has started, like Halloween night starts within the first half hour.
No way.
Right?
Like, no.
It was. So, like,
the first killing happens, like, with the exception of his sister, obviously, and, like, the first friend killing, the first directly related to Laurie killing, happens probably over an hour into the movie.
Really?
I would imagine so, dude. It is such a slow burn. I don't know, did you go back and watch it?
I did watch it.
You should have clocked it, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's close to an hour into the movie.
I know that it ends Fast and Furious, but I
Right.
think that there was, I don't know. No, that actually would make sense because once he starts killing, they're not really focusing on other stuff. But yeah, I just think it's horror movies where not a lot of people die are the best kind.
Yeah,
And that's what this is your classic, like, how many bodies does he catch? He catches like 5 to 10 max.
And honestly, I think in the new movie, there are too many bodies.
Yes,
I think
would
that
agree.
there are too many killings. I think.
Don't need him killing the sad fat kid. Like, who cares?
Yeah, there's
Or the kid that the dad. The biggest thing, one of the biggest things with me in the new one is he kills a kid, which he doesn't
Yeah.
really do over the course of the movies. Someone told me that maybe in 4 he kills a kid. I don't remember that.
But that's like basically erased with this movie.
That's true.
So, yeah, like so. That was sort of one of my criticisms about the new one is that I think there's too much of him killing for almost no reason where
Right.
it's not necessary, and I think part of the appeal, at least for me, for Mike Myers, is that like he is so focused.
Yes,
in
he's like
Laurie.
on his way to kill people all
Yes.
the time. He like in the first one, he runs into Tommy outside the school, and he just puts his hands on Tommy's shoulders and then walks away. Like, you could have killed that kid so easily.
Right.
Yeah.
And like there's just too much like killing just for the sake of killing in this movie, I think.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I liked it. One of the biggest things that I liked about this movie is that, and I find that this is kind of rare in horror movies, is that most of the characters were likable.
Right. I was going to say, I loved this cast. Obviously, Queen Judy Greer's in it, so that's
Right.
an A+ cast no matter what. Big shouts, and I don't mean this in an offensive way because I'm pretty sure that this person is a friend of Randy's. I think bootleg Richard Jenkins was spectacular as the father.
I don't even know if I've seen that guy in anything before.
No, but he was bootleg Richard
pretty
Jenkins.
much
I was
was,
like,
yeah.
they didn't, not they couldn't. I'm sure that Richard Jenkins would have done this movie. Richard Jenkins has a very weird career.
Very.
But yeah,
But so that like
that guy
that's-
was great.
That's the thing, and I understand why so many horror movies do that, where they make the characters so fucking unlikable that you're almost at a point like just rooting for them to die.
Yeah.
and it becomes fun when they actually do die. But this was like a weird experience because I liked the cast so much, and I liked what Allison, is that the young
The
girl?
granddaughter?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Her name's Allison. Like I liked her friend so much that I was sort of bummed when they were killed by Mike Myers.
I did have one. The only bad person in the movie is
Josh Gad.
No, not Josh Gad. Bootleg Josh Gad. That kid went
kid
down. No, her friend, the blonde one, because she called pot Alakazam. A, loser. B, that was confusing because Alakazam, because she was talking in code in front of the young man she was
Yes.
babysitting, who, by the way, stole the
Fucking
show.
Oscar.
Best,
He's an Oscar
a
nominee.
star is born, let me tell you, with that kid. She's talking in code in front of him, and she says, hey, the chef from Blockers is bringing the Alakazam. That, to me, sounds like she's talking about alcohol. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
kid
yeah.
who stole the show had to point out, like, hey, I know you're talking about smoking weed.
like,
And
how
I
the
was
fuck
like,
do you
oh,
know
yeah,
that?
me too. I knew you were talking about that.
So this movie
Little
effectively
5-year-old
made
was
you
like-
seem very uncool. Made you feel very uncool.
Well, everyone should feel uncool next to that kid. That kid was
Yeah, that
great.
kid was the best.
Well, what did you think of the chef from Blockers? I liked him. I thought he was good.
Is that's the pothead friend?
Yeah.
I thought he was good.
Alakazam kid.
I did like the fact that there were two of like really strong callbacks with that's like something about this movie that I liked. They had
the classroom
they,
scene,
They had
the school,
yes,
yeah,
that was very
that was-
very cool. Where she's sitting in the corner, she looks out, and I thought that was like kind of symbolic. Where like so in the first movie, Laurie's sitting in the back of the classroom.
Oh, because
in
they
the
both
corner,
like mean death or something.
where like Laurie's boogeyman.
Yeah,
is
right. Exactly. Yeah,
Laurie's boogeyman is Mike
Michael
Myers.
Her
and
boogeyman is her grandmother.
No, I would say that like at this point, Laurie has become the boogeyman.
Ooh, that's
where
not
she's
bad.
like hunting Mike Myers now.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. Like in my mind, I was like, ooh, this is like a changing of the guard sort of situation.
Yeah.
And I liked that. But there was callbacks with the friends too. The guy was killed in the exact same way as the boyfriend in the first way.
Right, when
he
he's
was
mounted
pinned,
up
yeah,
with
he was
the
pinned against the wall with the knife. And I don't know if you got this one, but the blonde, when they found her body, she had the sheet draped over her with the eyes cut out, and that's
like
how the girl was killed in the first one.
Right.
Which,
no, not the girl.
Yeah, when she was in bed.
No, but she who was in bed? The blonde girl?
In the first movie, Laurie's female friend was in bed after she had sex with the kid downstairs.
But then he comes up. She says, "Get me a beer." He comes, and Michael Myers comes back up, and she's like, "Where's my beer?"
Yeah,
then she
he's
gets
wearing
up.
the sheet.
Right, he's wearing the sheet. Oh, so that's what you're talking about.
So
Yeah,
it's
I was
like
going to say, because she gets up, he comes up wearing the sheet and the guy's glasses, and then she's like, "Where's my beer?" He doesn't do anything, and she says, "You're being totally weird," and then gets on the phone, and then he strangles her while she's on the phone.
Yeah.
Rudest thing to do when somene's on a call.
Yep. It's, you'd be
She's
hard
like,
pressed to find anything more rude than that.
Excuse me, I'm talking here.
But yeah, I thought that was a very cool callback with the sheet with the eye holes, which, by the way, just an absolutely fucking ridiculous part of the first Halloween.
What, that he comes up
with Mike Myers, like that did not fit into the Mike Myers like persona.
That he was like
all.
a bit of a goof.
He was like, gonna get you.
I had a lot of questions in this second one. The new one. They were Halloween 2 Cruise Control. They're showing
Halloween 2. Here we go again.
Yes, Halloween 2 Mission Impossible, and he's standing. What's he doing? He's standing in this like block at the asylum, and they're like, you can't get close to him. You got to stay behind this yellow line and everything. But he's got short hair, and I was like, how do they cut this guy's hair? Like, how does he eat? How do they feed him? And then I was thinking about like everything with him, and I was like, so that guy obviously doesn't have sex. Does he ever like? Does that guy like masturbate? What's this guy's life? Like
Mike Myers?
Yeah, like what? How is Mike Myers? Obviously, his mental wellness is shot. What is his sexual wellness like? What is his? He never speaks. He's just I don't know, man.
He murders that dick.
It seems like that's what he does. That's his sexual wellness.
I found it interesting that you brought up the fact that like he kills a kid in this one.
Yeah.
And that did feel fucking. That was another case of just like
I was like, man, this one's going for it in 2018, huh?
Yeah, killing for the sake of killing, because he easily could have just fucking stolen the truck and driven away,
right,
and left that kid. But I also made me question like, where does he draw the line? Because in one of the scenes. He
kills a dog in the first one.
Does he?
Oh yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he kills the dog that I think that the hottest girl in the first one is Laurie's other friend, the one with the curly hair.
I don't remember
who she gets killed in the car. I think that everyone thinks the blonde one. I think is like the babe, but I think that other one's quite a babe. She doesn't like that dog. It's always barking. It's making noises. And as it's barking, you can hear it being killed, and she's like, "Oh, thank God, he's finally piping down."
Because dogs yelp and just go silent
like,
for natural reasons a lot.
Yeah.
So there's a scene in this one where he walks past a baby, and it's crying, and I was like, "Oh shit, is he gonna kill the baby?"
Yeah.
And then he just keeps walking past it, but I was like. If you're trying to drive home the fact that this guy's just like pure evil and just like a complete monster, why might he not kill a baby?
Let's get to some of the other characters. There were the two podcasters who've got $3,000 in cash lying around for a source. Could not be us. Nope. They both get murdered pretty quickly into the movie. Like at first I was like, why even put them in it at all? But I was like, oh, whatever. I guess that this was their way of kind of reintroducing us. They had to do some sort of thing to tie us to Laurie and to him and everything. So what better way than someone who's doing a story on all of it? Yeah. So that was easy enough. Shouts out to Regina Spektor, bootleg Regina Spektor, for playing the girl.
Yes. I thought that it was... At first, I thought it was kind of cheap that they were like, let's mix in a 2018 element of it. Ooh, podcast.
A podcast.
Yeah. But like, the more I thought about it, I thought that It could have been done much better, but I did sort of like the element of like investigative crime podcast, because that shit for sure is a craze now, and there would be 100% in 2018, like 40 years later, there would 100% be
people trying to do that story.
Yes, about Mike Myers. So I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know if they like hit it as well as they should. They definitely didn't knock it out of the park.
Let's get to the worst part of the movie for me. I was so disappointed. I had realized by this point of the movie that I liked the movie and that it was a good movie. It was so good that it made me think it wasn't going to do a really corny, cheap thing, which was the guy who studied under Dr. Loomis is the guy who is the doctor.
The new Loomis.
Yeah, like the new Loomis.
They reference that in the
and
movie.
It turns out he's in love with Michael Myers, so he starts killing people to protect him. And I was like, "Oh, that is so lame and stupid." That's
that.
like right, like
it took it off course for a good amount of time.
So
too.
cheap and
more
just
than it needed to.
Yeah.
It
and then
definitely
he
wasn't
obviously
needed.
gets smoked by Michael Myers. It's the same thing that we've seen in every Jurassic Park movie when the guy's like, "Oh, I gotta protect the dinosaurs," and it's like, "Cool, well, the dinosaurs are gonna kill you then."
Yeah, it's like it's the only thing to learn here is that like every scientist in the world fucks whatever they are studying.
Yeah,
because there's 100% chance that new Loomis guy who just fetishizes and wants to do Mike Myers.
He was like, "You know what? I'll take care of his haircuts," and then he has sex with Michael Myers. That guy stunk.
Yeah, I hated that. There was a few things that made me pretty mad.
Coach from Remember the Titans was fine until he got murdered by the in love guy.
That's another part of like that twist. So-called twist that I didn't like, because the assistant coach from Remember the Titans, he was really good in this movie.
Yeah,
didn't deserve to die.
Yeah, it was quite upsetting, but overall, really, really liked it. To those who didn't, let me see what my notes are here. I haven't even looked at. Let's see. Oh, so yes. All right. So, obviously, all these movies end with them thinking that they killed him. So whatever. This isn't going to be a spoiler because this is how all these movies ended. I wrote down. So the three generations.
I wrote that
Lori, her daughter, and her granddaughter are all there for when they finish off Michael Myers.
The climax.
My note is, they sure aren't an opportunistic bunch of ladies. He's down and not moving, and they have guns, and instead they decide to walk past him up some stairs and burn down the house. Yes. They could have just, shot him again.
Yeah, but Lori has spent the last 40 years turning her house into a booby trap.
Right.
And
she really wanted to burn that thing down.
God bless her. She was taking advantage of every opportunity she could to utilize all of those boogie traps that she had.
But, and I know that this is referencing other Halloween movies, but burning down Michael Myers doesn't work. How many times are you going to light Michael Myers on fire to know that he's going to live through it?
Yeah, and so...
End of Halloween 2, she shoots him in both eyes, lights him on fire, he walks out of it, falls down, and they're like, all right, I guess he's dead, let's all just leave him. That's the biggest thing with me and Michael. This is my number one Michael Myers point. At the end of every movie, it appears that seemingly he has died, and he's lying down, and they show the body, and he's lying down, and I understand that we go home, the viewers, because the movie, that's the end of the movie, okay, that's it, let's go home. Apparently in all of these movies, then all the cops and everybody just goes home.
Yeah.
They leave, they're like,
Lori,
he's
Laurie
finally
Strode.
dead. There's his body. Let's let it decompose right there, seemingly. Let's walk away from it.
Laurie Strode, who has spent the last 40 years being completely fucking devastated and destroyed by the existence of Mike Myers, who has basically driven herself to insanity and become a hermit over obsessing about killing this guy, has him laying down in the basement of her house with gun in hand, and yet is not ready to finish the job as need be.
Just make sure that when he's dead, keep shooting at him as you're calling the police to be like,
clip.
hey, everybody come here, wrap this guy up, pull him apart limb by limb. This guy, he lives through everything. He's gunshots, fire. They, by the way, they reveal at the end of the movie, this is a huge twist. He didn't die.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah, no shit. That's something that kind of bothers me about the Halloween franchise. Just the fact that this dude is indestructible.
Yeah.
What's even the fucking point of all of this? What's the point of the movies if there's just no fucking possible way to kill this
Another
guy?
pet
They
peeve.
shot him in the face again in this movie.
Another pet peeve. A lot of people have been reacting. Shouts out. Shea Serrano wrote a really good thing on Michael Myers and all the Halloween movies. It was really good. But he is among many people who are very fascinated with the Michael Myers move of getting up. And they're like,
Just like the top half of your body just springs upward.
yeah, they're like, what strength that shows and everything. I tried it. I can do that.
Really?
That's not hard.
But like in a quick way.
He
Can you
does. He does it
demonstrate?
like slowly. He just goes like that.
And this one, I think that he popped up kind of quickly.
It's
Do you have good core strength? It must be the make the Deej wide again.
tell me
program.
if I'm doing something.
All right, give me a display.
Okay.
DJ is laying down on the ground. You kind of compensated there. Mike Myers does no compensation.
How did I compensate?
Like your back sort of like helps you up.
So
You kind of just have to like. Yeah, that was better. It's really like not that.
like quickly.
But your head comes forward first.
So I'll keep my head completely straight.
There you go. That you fucking nailed it that time. All right, so you have proved that you can do the Mike Myers.
But it's not even hard. Like it's not even difficult.
You're not.
breaking a sweat.
Yeah, you're not groaning and shit.
It's so easy.
Even a cat. Can
We should
do it.
post a tutorial on how to do
Yes.
it, and it's just like, yo, just
sit up.
Like sit. It's
Yeah, I it looks way cooler when Mike Myers does it.
right.
I don't know if it's because of the mask or whatever.
And it's because for some reason you're suspecting. Ooh, maybe he's there. He goes. Yeah, he's not dead.
Yes. So I don't know. It was very fun. It was not a perfect movie.
No.
It had several elements that kind of made me mad. Also, another callback was Laurie. We're sort of like Laurie becoming the boogeyman symbolism. Symbolisms.
Yeah.
She was lying outside. Remember, after in the first movie, she throws Mike Meyer up the balcony. He's laying on the front yard.
Mm-hmm.
She looks away. She looks back. He's gone.
Gone.
The exact opposite happened this time around. He pushed her off the balcony. She was lying in the lawn. And he looks away, looks back. She's gone, baby.
Yeah.
She's become the boogeyman, man.
Yeah. It was good. I recommend seeing it. I feel like everybody, and even if you haven't seen Halloween, you can see it pretty easily. I will say, you watched it on demand. It's on demand from AMC, and that means that it's an edited version. I don't know if you do this. I never watch the free one. I always shell out, see the real thing.
Depends how invested I am into watching it. I wasn't ready to pay money to watch
If it's from
Halloween.
a movie channel, if it's from like Cinemax, obviously I'll do it for free. Watch the
absolutely.
real thing.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to help them out or anything like that. But I rewatched the first one and I confirmed still think it's great. Let's talk a little bad times.
What do you want to give it for a stamp? Halloween.
Really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Wow, you're going really good?
Yeah.
I would say
Because it was so much better than I expected.
yeah, it was. I don't know if it was so much better than I expected just because I thought it looked good off of the trailer. I will say that it is, I'll say pretty good.
Nice.
I don't know. Pretty good makes it seem like less than good.
Right. Or like pretty damn good. That's
Pretty damn good
Yeah.
is a good one. I'll go pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. Okay. Bad times at El Royale. This is one where we just couldn't wait. We started reacting right after we saw it. I really liked it. What would you say? You kind of liked it?
I thought that it was good. I thought that it was entertaining, but I was dissatisfied because I felt like this had the potential to be a great movie.
Yeah.
I thought that it could have been great, but it just it felt too ambitious and it missed the mark for me, and it eventually left me with sort of a bad taste in my mouth.
The movie was very much interested in telling you as much as it wanted to tell you. There are not answers in this movie. There's no aha, there's no so this is what it all is. And I guess that's kind of I guess the payoff or the twister that you just don't learn really much about these people. They're just all there. You know that one of them is some sort of law enforcement. You know that one of them's running away from something. You know that one of them is someone with some sort of dementia or Alzheimer's or something who used to be a criminal. And you know that one of them kidnapped somebody and brought them there. And you get little answers here and there about them. Like, you can give a decent enough description about each of them by the end, but there's so many, like, big questions. Especially, there's one huge question that's left unanswered, which I think, like, that was this movie's artistic statement or something.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
So this is obviously like an ensemble
But the whole thing
cast.
looked so cool, and
It was,
like
yeah.
So that's why I really liked it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, and I thought that it delivered a good vibe. I thought that it was like the acting was good from pretty much everybody, and it was a really intriguing ensemble cast. But it was sort of one of those situations where they had so many characters, and they left. You said that they left all of them vague, and to a certain extent they did, but I also
it varies from person to person.
Exactly. So I was
though.
just gonna say they left some of them vague, where like they definitely over-explained other characters.
Yeah, they end up giving you they only give you everything from one person, and it's the clerk. And you didn't love the clerk.
No,
I liked him. I really wanted to know, like, what is this kid's deal, and they at least answered that. The other one, they mostly answer the Jeff Bridges character, and he was great. Like you said, everybody in this was really good. But yeah, they only kind of give you everything with one character, and you're like, well, that guy wasn't even in the trailer. Why do I care about that guy?
And like it's not a huge actor, and they have so many big names.
Yeah,
and this is such a fucking long movie. It is so long.
Say it did not feel long to me at all.
It felt pretty long to me. Like
it only felt long once. So they bring in Chris Hemsworth
very late in the movie, by the way.
In that part of the movie felt like a million hours. It honestly didn't need him at all.
It was. I thought that
it needed I guess. So he runs in as a bad guy for like
leader.
Shit to go down. Right. He's a cult leader who is involved with the two girls, the one that kidnapped the other one, and he comes in to be the kind of bad guy that can go against mostly everybody that's at the hotel. But it's dragged out so long.
It is drawn out.
I was like, oh, dude,
sure.
Stop.
I didn't hate Hemsworth as much as you did in this movie. I thought that he was actually pretty good.
Looked great.
He looked great. He looked like fucking daddy,
yeah.
Which he needed to, because you're not going to follow an ugly cult leader.
Right.
So I thought that he was good. It's just this movie was so fucking long. The payoff was just not worth it. There was not a big payoff at the end.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of movie, if you're gonna make me sit there for like 160 minutes, the payoff better be fucking huge, and it better be worth it, or else it's gonna leave a bad taste in my mouth. And that's what it did. And it's just like the way that this movie was presented was annoying at times.
It also was another. Its ending was very cheap. It's the place burns down. And I was like, if I want that, I would have seen Halloween again.
Right, and I don't know if that was like the ending to me. The ending to me still wasn't worth it, and it wasn't that big of a payoff. The shit that happens before that. But yeah, just like it felt really like odd at points watching this. And the reason why I say that it felt long to me is that like it just felt sort of disjointed in the way that it was presented.
Yeah.
Because they go from character to character.
Yeah.
And it feels like they build up at a lot of points, and then
you think it's going to be
reset.
like, oh, they're all tied together, and then it's
they're
like,
really
no, not really. Yeah, they're
just
not.
All separate little anecdotes.
Two of them end up being, or three of them, I suppose, end up being tied together because they end up kind of coming together, but there's no like previous
before this.
Yeah,
it's not like a crash situation.
Yeah, my biggest issue with the movie, I don't know if you noticed this, they totally misled us in the trailers. In the trailer, Dakota Johnson, who shocker, looks unbelievable.
Yeah, she did look really good.
Has an accent in the trailer,
Really?
and she doesn't in the movie. In the trailer, they show John Hamm knocking on the door saying, hey, open the door, please. And she says, nah, I ain't gonna do that. And like it's very like southern and sweet. And she's like a California girl in the movie.
She's like a dark.
So yeah, so this one, in the movie, he knocks on, he's like, open the door, and she's like, nah, dog, I'm not opening that.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that falls into her not being able to do the role?
I don't know. I have no idea whether or not Dakota Johnson's great.
Neither do I.
I think she's just so painfully beautiful, and
she looked great in this movie, and I honestly thought that she was pretty solid in this.
Yeah,
like, she didn't blow me away, but she also didn't.
I thought that everybody
distract.
was good.
Yeah,
Jeff Bridges, outstanding. Yeah, good stuff overall. But yeah, it was just weird because it had to be intentional to not answer all these questions, because it's one thing if they left out one or two things, but like they're doing flashbacks to stuff that they don't give you answers for. There's got to be like 20 things that they don't tell you in this movie.
And it's
so it was
it's a
choice.
weird situation too, because like this is a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah,
and like I don't want to be like, well, I need more, but like they just didn't explain shit. I feel like they didn't allot time in the places where they should have.
Yeah.
Or and this honestly felt like it might have worked better as like a Netflix series or like a limited miniseries, because the way that they went about presenting it, like again, like it was very segmented. They would jump from character to character, and like I guess the pacing was a bit weird in the sense that like they would build up and then reset with a different character, build up and then reset with a different character. I think that would have worked better with like a mini series where you spend like an hour on this character, you spend an hour on this character, even like a half an hour, and then you make it like episodes.
So you're saying season 4 of Arrested Development?
No, no. I guess. No, because it's not all happening like concurrently.
Right. Yeah.
There's no reason for that to happen at the same time.
Yeah. I was not looking forward to this movie. I was very wary of this movie because I was afraid it was going to be
Murder on the
Orient Express. How would you compare the two? I think this was night and day better. It was just such a cool watch. There were a lot of cool shots. Everyone looked great. Really cool. There was a great all-time scene when John Hamm is walking through the hall the first time and looking in on all the rooms, and Jeff Bridges is digging up the floorboards, and he's supposed to be a priest. So what's going on with this guy? What's her face is Dakota Johnson's bringing in a girl who's tied up, and the Cynthia Erivo character, who I'm not totally sure who she is, but she was great in it. She is practicing singing with a metronome, and as she's singing, he's going up and down and seeing all this stuff, and it's just really, really, really cool scene. I would say it's like the coolest scene I've seen. So she's a Broadway actress, and she's from London, from Stockwell, London, and just great. She's also in. This was her second movie. She's in Widows. She's also in the upcoming Chaos Walking, Needle in a Time Stack, and Harriet. So yeah,
she was very good. I liked her. I mean, like all the acting, there was acting wasn't the issue for me.
Yeah, storytelling was.
Yeah, for storytelling was, and time was, and pacing was. It's just, this movie's forever gonna frustrate me. I think it's just gonna be one of those that I'm gonna have to just forget, which sucks because I liked it so much.
Yeah,
like I thought that it could have been very, very good, but it wasn't great, and I felt like it could have been great, and that's gonna bother me forever.
What stamp will you give it?
Man, I guess frustrating is like the best way that I can put it. It was so I want to put some sort of good mark on it.
Yeah,
but in the end, it's just gonna the bad taste is gonna overpower everything for me.
I'm gonna give it a V good.
Very good.
V good. V good.
I think. Yeah, man. I guess just frustrating.
Could be worse. It could be. It could like Greta Van Fleet.